Page 1. What is a material? Hello everyone, welcome to AS Classes. Today, let us learn about an important topic, materials. First, what is a material? A material is the substance from which an object is made. Look around you. You will find many different objects, and these objects are made from different materials. For example, a chair can be made from wood, a notebook is made from paper, a tumbler can be made from glass, and a spoon can be made from metal. Similarly, a bottle can be made from plastic, a pot can be made from clay, and a shirt is made from cloth. Different materials have different properties. These properties make them suitable for making different objects. Some common materials around us are wood, paper, glass, metal, plastic, clay, and cloth. So, remember, a material is the substance used to make an object. 3. One object can be made from different materials. Now, let us understand another important point. The same object can be made from different materials. The choice of material depends mainly on the purpose of the object and the availability of the material. For example, a tumbler can be made from glass, steel, plastic, or clay. Although all these tumblers are used for a similar purpose, they are made from different materials. Similarly, a chair can be made from wood, metal, or plastic. A wooden chair, a metal chair, and a plastic chair may look different, but all of them can be used for sitting. This shows us that one object does not always have to be made from only one particular material. The material is selected according to its properties, purpose, and availability. 4. One material can make many objects. Now, let us learn the opposite idea. One material can be used to make many different objects. For example, wood can be used to make a chair, a table, and a door. Glass can be used to make a bottle, a window, and a tumbler. Metal can be used to make a spoon, a key, and different utensils. This means that the same material can be given different shapes and used for different purposes. So, wood is not used only for making chairs. Glass is not used only for making tumblers. Metal is not used only for making spoons. A single material can be used to make many useful things. Therefore, we can remember two important ideas. First, one object can be made from different materials. Second, one material can be used to make many different objects. These examples help us understand how materials are used in our everyday life. Thank you for watching AS Classes. Keep learning and keep exploring the science around you. Now let us learn about the classification of materials. The word classification means grouping things according to their common properties. We can classify materials by looking at their properties. Some important properties are appearance, hardness, softness, color, and material type. Classification makes it easier for us to understand and use different materials. Materials can be classified in different ways. First, we can classify them by appearance. Materials may be shiny or dull. For example, a steel bowl has a shiny appearance, while a stone may have a dull appearance. Second, we can classify materials by hardness. Some materials are hard, while others are soft. A nail is an example of a hard material, whereas an eraser is an example of a soft material. Third, materials can be classified by color. For example, a shirt may be white, while a book may be black. Finally, materials can be classified by material type. Some materials are natural, while others are man-made. A leaf is an example of a natural material. A plastic bottle is an example of a man-made material. Therefore, classification helps us group materials based on their common properties and makes it easier to understand them. Choosing the right material for an object. Now let us understand how to choose the right material for an object. Materials are selected according to their properties and the purpose for which they are going to be used. A material that is suitable for one object may not be suitable for another object. Let us look at some examples. First, cloth is not suitable for making a water tumbler. Why? Because cloth can absorb water and cannot hold water like a tumbler. Next, paper is not suitable for making cooking utensils. Paper can burn when exposed to high temperatures, so it is not suitable for cooking. Now let us look at suitable materials. Steel is a good material for making spoons. Steel is strong and suitable for everyday use, so it can be used to make spoons. Glass is a good material for making windows. Glass allows light to pass through it and also allows us to see through the window. So, we should always choose the right material for the right purpose. The properties of a material help us decide whether it is suitable for making a particular object or not. Properties of materials, overview. Now, let us learn about the properties of materials. Different materials have different properties. Properties describe how a material looks, feels, or behaves. We use these properties to compare different materials. They also help us choose the right material for different uses. Let us look at some important properties. The first property is appearance. Appearance tells us how a material looks. For example, we can observe its color and shape. The second property is luster. Luster tells us whether a material is shiny or dull. For example, some metals have a shiny appearance. The third property is texture. Texture tells us how the surface of a material feels. A material may have a rough surface or a smooth surface. The fourth property is hardness or softness. Some materials are hard, while others are soft. For example, a hard object may resist being scratched or pressed easily, while a soft material can be pressed more easily. Another property is transparency. Transparency tells us how much light can pass through a material. Materials may be transparent, translucent, or opaque. A transparent material allows us to see clearly through it. A translucent material allows some light to pass through it. An opaque material does not allow light to pass through it. Next is solubility. Solubility tells us whether a material can dissolve in water or not. For example, some substances dissolve in water, while others do not. Another property is mass. Mass tells us how much matter an object contains and helps us compare how heavy different objects are. Finally, we have volume. Volume tells us how much space an object occupies. So, the important properties we learned today are appearance, luster, texture, hardness or softness, transparency, solubility, mass, and volume. These properties help us compare materials and choose the right material for different purposes.